As someone who watched House of Wax at the movies when it was released, I can absolutely confirm that when Paris Hilton died on screen, the entire theater erupted in cheers. Many, many years later, Paris Hilton has a net worth of $300 million, and I'm hunched over a $300 laptop making videos about a 17-year-old movie. Welcome to the Movie Squib channel. I'm your host, Charlie, here with my special guest, Queenie, who you can see is absolutely thrilled to be on this video. And today, I'll be giving you some great behind-the-scenes trivia about the 2005 film House of Wax. Now, the movie was actually directed by Jaume Collet-Serra, and it was his feature film debut, and he would go on to direct the movie Orphan and The Shallows. Now, I'm a bit embarrassed to admit, but I haven't watched Orphan yet.
Shame. Shame.
I know. I promise I will watch it. So the movie stars Elisha Cuthbert as Carly, Chad Michael Murray as her brother Nick, Jared Padalecki as her boyfriend Wade, Brian Van Holt as both Beau and Vincent, and Paris Hilton as Paige. Yuck. Now, I'm not going to do my more detailed summary of the movies that I normally do.
Good, great, grand, wonderful.
And the reason why is that I highly recommend this movie.
Oh,
It is a great horror film. It's got decent acting. It's got fantastic set pieces. It's got fantastic practical effects. I highly recommend that you watch this movie. Let me go ahead and just give a small summary of the movie without giving too much away. So the movie starts off with a group of friends who are on their way to a football game, but they end up getting sidetracked and decide to camp for the night in a wooded area, as one normally does on the way to a football game. As if that wasn't a fantastic idea enough already, a stranger in a pickup truck shows up late at night and doesn't leave until Nick smashes one of his headlights, which is sure to not come back and haunt him in any way whatsoever.
Why would you do that?
So, the next morning, Wade discovers that his car's fan belt is broken and they end up splitting up. Carly and Wade go with this nasty local guy named Lester to go get the fan belt fixed, while the rest of the group head on over to the game. Carly and Wade end up in this ghost town with a wax museum called Trudy's House of Wax, and they meet a man named Beau who offers to sell them a fan belt and drive them back to their car after he's finished attending a funeral. Already, you're getting some bad vibes off of Beau, but you need that fan belt. What can you do?
Run, bitch! Run!
So things end up taking a turn for the worse when Wade is attacked and knocked unconscious by Beau's twin brother Vincent, who has a facial disfigurement covered by a wax mask, reminiscent of the play Phantom of the Opera.
So, down the gauntlet has been laid. Lane?
So Carly ends up fleeing from the scene, but Beau ends up chasing her down and takes her to a gas station cellar. Meanwhile, Vincent covers Wade's body in molten wax while Wade is still alive. Ugh. The other group ends up reuniting to go look for Carly and Wade, but they soon realize that the wax figures in the museum are actually wax-coated corpses. Vincent and Beau are basically sadistic killers who use the wax museum and indeed the entire town to trap and kill unsuspecting victims. The movie's climax takes place in the House of Wax itself, which is made entirely of wax. Beau and Vincent chase Carly and Nick, and a fire breaks out, causing the building to start melting. Nick and Carly end up having to fight for their lives against the Twisted Brothers, and then the movie ends.
Please tell me this is some kind of sick, tasteless joke.
Okay, not really, but I don't want to spoil the ending for you because I highly recommend that you watch this film. My only issue with this film, besides the lack of chemistry between Elisha Cuthbert and Jared Padalecki, is that they toned down the gore and violence to obtain a PG-13 rating. Boo! I've got some really fun facts about Elisha Cuthbert in this film. Let me start off with saying that Elisha Cuthbert had no chemistry with Jared Padalecki because she was actually dating in real life Chad Michael Murray, who plays her brother Nick. Why didn't they reverse their roles? It just makes no sense, especially since Wade's character is a bit of a dick in the movie. I love Jared Padalecki, and by the way, if you've never watched the show Supernatural, you have to watch that show. It's a top quality horror show Russo, Jared Padalecki, Jensen Ackles. It's fantastic. Although I will say this, for me, Supernatural ends at season 5. The season finale for season 5 is the end of the show for me, and everything after that was a fever dream created by executives at the CW to milk this franchise for everything it's got. Back to Elisha Cuthbert. Here's another fun fact about Elisha Cuthbert. She actually insisted on having her lips glued shut for this scene. Now, of course, it wasn't real crazy glue, but they did use an adhesive to make it more realistic. And I have to commend her because I couldn't see any other actresses today doing that. So the wax museum was built first. It was built from scratch in a parking lot in Australia. That's right. The name of the town is called Ambrose, Louisiana, but the set is actually located in Queensland, Australia. Now, the set started off as the wax museum itself, and then the entire town was built around it. And this is actually a functioning town. It took them a total of 10 weeks to construct this entire set, and at the time, it was the largest set in Australia. Okay, now let's move on to the infamous Paris Hilton.
Everybody's so fucking lame. Except for you, my little Tinkerbell. You love me very much, don't you? How much you love me?
Now, if you're a Gen X like me, then you know exactly who she is. Now, to be honest, nowadays, I have no ill will towards her.
Good for you.
But at the time, I hated seeing her on my television screen. But I have to give Paris Hilton some credit. She did very well in this movie. She played the part that she was actually supposed to play. Her acting was not that bad, and she really gave it her all. For instance, did you know that she actually did her own stunts for her final scene? And she actually simulated being out of breath by running up and down stairs. So she actually put in quite a bit of effort into this movie. Not only that, but one of the taglines for this movie was "On May 6th, see Paris die." And Paris Hilton actually embraced that. And she actually sold some t-shirts out of it. So she actually took it all in good stride. And I have to commend her for that. So here's another fun fact about Paris Hilton's role. She was actually selected after the director saw her in an episode of The Simple Life. But before she was selected, Kate Winslet and Jennifer Connelly were both considered for the role. I want you to let that sink in.
Mind blown.
Now, one other fun little tidbit about Paris Hilton is that reportedly she was actually very embarrassed by her scream, so much so that she needed the entire crew to scream along with her for a few times to get her off what I assume is the yips. Which I think is really funny considering the tape.
Stupid spoiled whore, video playset, let everyone see your cooch.
I'm pretending to be calling my friends on the cell phone while my man waits for more sex.
Now, one other really cool fun fact about this movie is that these wax figures in this church scene, they're actually extras. Some of them are actually wax sculptures, but a lot of them are actually extras in makeup, which I thought was awesome because when you see the movie, they actually look like wax sculptures. They don't look like someone in makeup pretending to stand still.
Holy shit, man. Hold tight, man. Hold tight. I'm gonna get you out of this. Oh!
So I think that's it for my little summary of House of Wax. You already know how I feel. I absolutely love the movie. I highly recommend it. I hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you did, I've got more coming along the way, so hit that like and subscribe. But if you don't, that's quite okay with me because I appreciate that you stuck around to the end of this video. Thank you so much, and you all have a lovely and frightful evening.